And almost every time they'll say leadership doesn't listen to what we need and what we want. So as it pertains to self-care has to be more than just a flyer that's in your break room that was sent down by HR.
Today, we are talking once again with Robert Allen, a mental health activist and author of Self-Care. Let's start the conversation. We asked him back to get into self-care in the workplace. I'm excited about this show because when I think of self-care, I think of it as something that's done in private. So I'm curious to hear how this fits into the workplace, and you should be curious too, especially if you're an owner, manager, or leader in your workspace. My name is Monique Scott.
Hey, and this is your girl, Felina B. Flossin. Thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment below on your biggest takeaway from today's topic, or feel free to share your expertise. Hello, Robert. Welcome back to the 5-Star Living Show.
Thank you for having me back, ladies. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about self-care for employees. Why should employers be concerned about self-care?
Well, it's simple. In any industry that you deal with, you have customers. And so it should be part of your customer satisfaction. People who invest in their employees and invest in their self-care, their well-being, has this same portion of, okay, if I have a healthier worker, then I have a nicer worker. If I have a nicer worker, then that should have some impact on customer satisfaction.
Yeah. Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm.
So let's say you have someone who has a terrible work-life balance. They just found out that they have to start caring for an elderly parent. They have kids, just a lot of things going on. And then they come to work and they're stressed out. If middle management isn't paying attention, then, that customer that comes in, that could be that $1 million customer comes in and they get this particular worker. It could show, very bad for the company, it's because that person is a representative of the company. Yeah. And so the company is represented in a negative way.
Wow, very true.
And that's interesting. You would say that. So you talk about this having impact on profits and even productivity. How is that so?
Oh, glad you asked that one. So I've worked in the healthcare setting, law enforcement setting, education setting, and the business setting for a Fortune 500 company. And so a lot of what we do, my company, is we go in and we do needs assessment. What is going on in your company? Okay. How are your workers? What do they really feel about the company? You have an all-employee survey. You have these surveys where the employees say some of the things, and sometimes the questions aren't asked right. You ask questions and it doesn't give you the information that you need to be able to make really good decisions. So we come in and say, hold on, let's structure some questions that's going to be pointed. And so when we develop the questions and we go in and see the culture of the environment of the work, then we're like, okay, here's some of the issues. Here's some of the things that people are not paying attention to. And almost every time they'll say leadership doesn't listen to what we need and what we want. So as it pertains to self-care has to be more than just a flyer that's in your break room that was sent down by HR.
I was going to say, do you find that a lot of leaders are surprised by what they learn?
A lot of times, yes, but sometimes leaders don't know because they get in the habit of asking the same questions over and over, year in and year out. So you get the same data. If you don't change the questions that you want to know. So for instance, if you did an all-employee survey before COVID, okay, and then you give them that same all-employee survey during COVID, You give them the same employee survey when they have a different management or when you change leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to change particular questions to ask people what they need in that space and that time that matches that space and that time, if that makes sense.
It does. And when it comes to what employers should or shouldn't do or can and can't do, are there limits, besides a survey? Are there things that they can offer, or what does that look like?
So I'll give you some examples. So I've been in the industry, healthcare industry, and we get a lot of stuff via email.
Okay.
We get a lot of different things. So I like to call it email jail. If you get 100 emails a day, you may or may not even get that email. You may or may not even seen this. A lot of people are doing mindfulness classes, breathing classes, virtual, and all of these things. But some people don't even have the time to look at those.
Right.
Or they're not in a space at their desk at the computer. What if they share an office? They don't want to do it there. They don't feel comfortable. So you're offering something in theory that's good, that's great, but to people that can't use it. What if they don't have a computer? But it was in the email, and they say, "Well, did you get the email?" No, I got 300 emails. I didn't get that.
For real.
So people who work on the floor, like in a plant or something like that, they don't have access to that.
Wow.
So in theory, it's good. It's a good thought. But did you maximize on how you can use it in the workspace?
Absolutely. Okay. Loving it. So, you hitting, I feel like I should be taking notes, but I'm going to have to watch the show again because
there you go.
This is awesome. Can you remind our audience, because we know, but can you remind our audience what makes you an expert in the self-care space?
Well, I've been doing this a long time, and not only doing it, it's through experience. I've experienced burnout personally on a personal level, but I've also experienced burnout in the workplace. And so I believe with my background in mental health, with my business background, knowing people and walking with people through this journey, that is what makes me an expert.
Amen. Let's talk burnout. What are you noticing or hearing about when it's coming to burnout in the workplace, especially now with, people working back in the office from being out for a while, people still working remotely, people working hybrid. What are you noticing?
Well, you know what? Again, I'll go back. It's a lot of stress. People are stressed out because it's different. COVID has thrown us in a place where people had to pivot and didn't have a plan. And so people are working on autopilot, trying to figure it out, don't necessarily have a plan. And it's stressful when you're managing all of these different kind of elements. Also, work-life balance. What I see more than anything, if you take, let's say, law enforcement, if you're mandated overtime, what does that look like for childcare in my family and what I need to do? When you have different elements that's added on just because your family may be growing, your responsibilities may be changing. You may have to care for an ailing parent or your own health challenges. All of these play a major factor in burnout. And so what I've been seeing is people who have really been stressed to the point of exhaustion, where they're saying now, what are you doing for you? All I want to do is go to sleep. And to get in a space where all of you want to do is go to sleep. I don't want to enjoy myself. I really don't want to enjoy life. I don't really want to live life. I just want to sleep because that's what's most important to me now.
Wow.
And so I see it on a daily basis. People who are just drained and exhausted.
And so knowing that they have these, exhaustive schedules, what are some ways to try to prevent the burnout of that?
Well, if you don't mind, I'll take a step back.
Okay.
People who don't even work become exhausted.
Yeah.
People who are on standby, still trying to figure it out. What am I going to do next? are exhausted because your emotions and the anxieties and the stress, you just like, I don't even know what to do today.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to sleep because this day is just, it's too hard.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the things that we can do with burnout to kind of alleviate? Again, I go to the 4 R's. I think that the 4 R's, retreat, reflect, refresh, and restore, are used interchangeably throughout whatever it is we're going to, because it allows a person to get back to a set point where they can either get away from distractions. So how does that work?
Yeah.
I'm not working, but I'm distracted. I'm watching TV all day. I'm keeping up with the Kardashians or whomever they're keeping up with now. Uh, uh, I'm taking care of the kids because maybe they're not going to school full time now, or they got this hybrid schedule, all of these things. So I'm busier than I was when I was at work being at home. And so I'm still burnt out.
Yeah.
So to retreat from that, and retreat doesn't have to be all or nothing. A lot of people think to get away, I have to go on this 3, 4, 5 day vacation to get away. For people at the workplace, a retreat could be simply not working through your lunch and taking that space to say, you know what, I'm going to go. I'm going to take this 30 minutes that I got for lunch. I am going to get out of this space and I'm going to go sit by a tree somewhere. If you like reading a book, read a book. If you got earbuds and you want to go listen to some nice smooth jazz, go and do that for me.
Yeah.
So get away from the distractions.
I can definitely say that helps, because I have a hallway and I'll get up and just go walk down the hallway. It doesn't have to be anything major, anything big. It's just getting out of that area where you are feeling that pressure or that stress, or you just been sitting there for so long and doing nothing else. It just really helps to kind of just take a breath, breathe, do a 1-2 minute walk, and then what did you call it? Refresh. Yes. So that you can restore.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so as business leaders and managers, what can they do to help cultivate an atmosphere of positive mental health in the office?
You know what? I think it's really looking at the culture. Let's say you have a lot of people that's leaving industries now via retirement, or they're just pivoting and going to different things. I think leaders really need to adjust what the culture is, to see what the culture is now. You have a lot of young people, a lot of older people coming into the mix. So now what do our culture look like at work? It's not the same. And then looking at what does this group of people need that's going to fill their cup. What is needed for this group? Now it's different if you had you could take industry, any industry. You had people that relied on each other, and they knew each other. Where if I take a break, I got you, I already know you. But then when you mix a whole new batch of people in there, the whole dynamics change. So you can't do what you did for the group that was 5 years ago.
Okay.
Right.
You have to look at this new mix and say, how do I help them gel, create a new culture?
Yeah.
And then from a leadership standpoint, what is going to fill their cup?
Yeah.
So it comes back to, again, the refreshing part. How can I keep them away from distractions? What's going to be most meaningful to this group? Remember, self-care in its essence is whatever fills your cup in your most needful space.
That's excellent. So my question is, I'm thinking there's some people who are listening that are like, my boss,
right?
My boss needs this information, not now, but right now, right? How can your book, Self-Care, Let's Start the Conversation, be a tool for the workplace? And then you'll have to tell us how to get it so that you can anonymously send it to, powers that be.
Absolutely. we've actually had people buy the book and start book clubs at work. And then they
Okay.
go chapter to chapter. And what's good about the book, I think what makes this book different than any other book is at the end of each chapter, you have a reflective pause that helps people sit back and do the second R, which is reflect. And so they can go straight to the website, www.r.w.allen books.com. If they go there, they can click on the link and it says trainings. We do all kind of training, self-care retreats, but also they can buy the book as well.
That's what's up. Okay, self-care. Let's start the conversation.
Okay, let's start the conversation. Do you happen to have any like success stories of any companies, businesses, employees, leaders that have read the book and things that they're doing with it?
So I have to tell you something funny. I had a program manager who read the book. We were having a conversation about the book, and I gifted her the book. I said, "Here, I want you to read this." And she read it, and she said she got to about chapter 5, and she threw the book across the room.
Okay.
And I was just like, "You threw the book? Like,
She's passionate.
what did the book do to you?" And she responded. She said, by chapter 5, I had never taken a look at myself
Wow.
in such a transparent way, and it
Amazing.
was scary. And I said, "What?" And so she said she subsequently, like 2 weeks later, picked the book back up and really started engaging. And she said it has really opened her eyes to her, and so much so that she bought the book for many of her staff,
Oh no.
and they start reading together. And I've made myself available via Zoom to have for anybody who buys the book and wants to do a club. I've made myself available to come in once or twice to have conversation on the book and the reflective pauses that they went through and how it works for them.
And you say reflective pauses. Just before we go and get out of here, tell a little bit about what is that?
Okay, so at the end of each chapter, the second R in the retreat, reflect, replenish, and restore. The second R is reflect. So at the end of each chapter, it's only about 10 or 12 pages per chapter. At the end of the chapter, it's a series of questions that helps the reader become more transparent with themselves, to ask themselves the questions, how does this speak to me? And it gives them that ability to open up and really just pour out those things that's meaningful to them. Again, once you've got away from the distractions, then you can be open, honest, and transparent with yourself.
I love it. Take action. I love when you get to take some action.
Absolutely.
And
Wow.
so when somebody told me it's not a book that you read, it's a book that you do.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then.
So one more time, tell our listeners how they can get this book, how to get in touch with you, and you offer any freebies?
Oh, just for you all, they can get in touch with me, www.r.w.allen books.com. Anybody who tunes into this show and this show only, if you put in 5-star in the promo code, you will get a free journal from R.W.Allen Books. That is our gift to you that will aid you in your self-care journey.
Go get your free journal, y'all. Go get your free journal. Thank you, Robert. We appreciate you for offering that to our listeners.
Absolutely.
We have enjoyed you. You know, we're going to have you back again, you know. You're going to be one of our regulars because, you know, part of 5-star living is taking care of your mind, body, and soul. And you tell us how to take care of all that. So,
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. You two are awesome. Have Two of the best smiles in the business. I love you both.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, we thank you all for listening, liking, and subscribing. We believe in you and wish you success on your 5-star living journey.
Yes. Join us on Facebook in the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle group. And remember, laugh more and love more while taking care of your mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely. The 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by FlossieB.com, Meditate with Mo, Flossie Flicks Photography, Monique.com, and Flossie Locks. Until next time, keep 5-star living, y'all.
Keep 5-Star Living, y'all. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.